Hello, you are listening to Real Health Conversations podcast, and today I have a very special masterclass for you. I created it just for you. I am Holly Jean. I'm your host. Did you know that most people spend at least half of every day inside of their homes? When it comes to your health, your home deserves just as much attention as your body. And I know since you are listening to this podcast, that health and the health of your body is important to you. So, our homes, our communities, the surrounding environments, they have direct impacts on our daily behaviors and lifestyles. And cumulatively, these factors determine up to 80 to 90% of our health outcomes. And we are going to dive into that. But first, I want to thank everyone who celebrated our 500th episode with us last week. If you haven't listened, Leanne Vogel and I had a really great conversation about how nutrition and wellness trends have changed over the past decade because we've both been in this space for that long. And it just going over and reflecting, it just made me really excited about the future of the show. And I can't believe it's been 500 episodes already. And I have the rest of the year booked out with some really great guests. I'm already planning into the new year. I'm very excited about the future of the show. But that being said, I would really appreciate if you leave the show a review because it does help me to continue booking in great guests. And it also helps our show come up on the podcast like platform recommendations. So when people are looking for shows, the more reviews a show has, the more people we can get in front of because it gets recommended more. So if you are able to do so, I would greatly appreciate a review for the show. And usually I think people do that on Apple Podcast. All right, I want to get going. Before we get into today's show, I want to do a shout out to our show's sponsor, which is LifeWave Phototherapy Patches. And phototherapy is the science of using light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems. Phototherapy patches, these are now commonplace in my household and in my practice because they are powerful healing tools and remedies. They're just these small sticker devices, and when placed over specific areas on the body's own infrared light is then used to stimulate nerves, which create signals that tell the body what to do. And each patch is formulated a little bit differently. That gives different light waves signals, so it could do things such as relieve pain, increase energy, relax the body, promote sleep, power up physical endurance, reduce inflammation, boost glutathione production, and even activate stem cell production. They do so much more. I absolutely love these patches because they are non-invasive, easy to use, and they are very effective. To purchase or learn more, visit lifewave.com/hollyjean or click the direct link in the show notes to be taken right to the LifeWave page. You could also email me, holly@hollyjeanhealth.com, and I'd be happy to talk to you about what your symptoms are, maybe what your health goals are, what you're currently experiencing, and I could recommend what patches I think would be best for you. So let's get on with today's episode. If you are listening, I want you to know that I'm actually going to be going through um, a a slideshow today. Going old school with slideshows, but I actually created a guide for you guys. Let me share my screen here. So if you want to watch this, you can go to the YouTube channel and you'll be able to watch this. But otherwise, what I'm going through is a guide that I created as a free download for you guys. Um, and it's based off of feedback I've received over the years because I have been listening. I hear you. I know that you know it's important to make your home environments as healthy as possible. And there were a lot of questions like, what is toxic load? How can I tell if my children or my family are being negatively affected by environmental toxins? Where or how do I get started just cleaning up my home environment? I have been listening to you. I hear you. I know this is important, and I know it's been on your to-do list for a long time, and you just haven't done it because you either don't know where to start or it seems overwhelming. And I just want you to know that overwhelm is not even an option when you see how simply I'm going to break it down for you in this guide. Because here's the thing, you're going to feel so much better knowing that you are taking proactive steps to clean up your home environment. And it's better to be empowered with knowledge so you can make healthier, informed decisions than to be unaware of the risks. So let's get going. All right, sorry, if you're just listening, I'm fumbling with my screen here. Okay, here we go. All right. Home is a place that should be safe and comfortable and not the place we want to associate as a source of our health issues or potential problems. But the truth is kind of out on this one, and our home environments could be negatively affecting you and your family's health. But luckily, there are solutions and there are ways to minimize exposure or even sometimes avoid risk altogether. And I want you and your loved ones to be as healthy as possible. So that is why I created this guide. And with each hazard that we go to, there's going to be action steps that you can take to fix the issues. You don't have to do everything at once. A simple place to start is by choosing to commit to addressing one area of your home each month. Another way is to simply replace items with healthier or safer choices as needed. So as you run out of something, you can just replace it with a healthier option. We call this the ditch and switch. And I recommend starting with the items and the products that you use most, because these are things, if you're using them daily or frequently, the chemical and toxic load adds up pretty quickly. So by starting here, people often see the most benefits the fastest. And also, I just want to let you know that I am here for support and for questions. Just reach out. I am not just a voice coming through your earbuds. I am a real human, and this is my business, which is run by clients who are also real humans just like you. So please reach out to me if you have questions about any of this stuff. Okay, here we go. So, sorry, I'm just fumbling one more time. Don't mind me. All right, first of all, the first thing you need to do is ask, are you ready to detox your life? Because many of us did not grow up with a deep education surrounding health and well being. Between beliefs that were passed down from our parents and from the bombardment we have from advertising and marketing companies for products and food and things, we just kind of pick up that stuff as we go through life, but we most of us don't forge our relationship um, to our bodies and our health for the first time until adulthood, when we start asking some questions. Or maybe it's because we've become sick. It might be the quest to find better health might be born out of a desire to heal from either a formal diagnosis or even just a set of symptoms, and you're just knowing, hey, I should be feeling better than this. I could be feeling better than this. So let's talk about body burden and toxic load. Although detoxing is a natural process the body does daily, the reality is that many of us, the burden of toxicity has been an overload for our bodies for years, perhaps even decades. And when you think about the environments in which we grew up and lived, it's not surprising that many people are struggling with their health. And since World War II, 80,000 new chemicals have been created. And with like 1,500 new chemicals being invented every year, the testing that we have is insufficient at best. You know, they're not fully tested for their neurotoxic effect. They are not tested against each other to see if there's any interactions when they're used together, or the compound effect of these things. And when we're looking at just cleaning chemicals, most cleaning chemicals are protected by trade secrets. If you guys can hear that, my cat's playing with some toy. Of course, I just want to say this is my fourth attempt now to record because my animals keep interrupting. The internet keeps going out. That's an aside. I'm going to carry on. Okay. Um, Cleaning chemicals. Most cleaning chemicals are protected by trade secrets. So companies are not required to disclose all of the ingredients. So instead, they have ingredients which are proven carcinogenic ingredients. They have neurotoxic ingredients, and they can put these into their products without any ramifications because the industry is just not regulated. They don't have to disclose it. It's a giant mess. On top of all of this, we live in one of the most health valued eras, like right now, this time. But so companies are going above and beyond to trick us into thinking that their products are healthy. They use greenwashing tactics like ambiguous language, including words like natural or eco, as well as like that hip, eco-looking packaging that's all minimalist and clean. Those things trick us. We're thinking we're buying a product that it's not, just based on how it looks or by catchy marketing phrases. And so I created this guide to kind of highlight this upstream pollution that's making its way into our bodies, because it doesn't matter how much you detox. If you're still chronically exposing your body to toxins, it will be like this never-ending two-step forward, two-step back kind of process. Um, so here are 7 signs that your body is overburdened. Constant fatigue, skin issues, difficulty concentrating, frequent headaches, trouble losing weight, sleep problems, and allergies. So I created this guide, Health Starts at Home. We're going to go over the top 10 toxins and areas where toxins are hiding. This is just a good place to start. We're going to go over household cleaners, furniture, carpet, appliance, water, air quality, mold, food, amalgam fillings, plastics, beauty products, EMFs. I am not going to go into all of the details of all of these things for this episode, but I just want you to know that this guide is beefy. It has a lot of stuff in there, so make sure you get it. Let's dive into household cleaners. Um, Household cleaners often contain neurotoxic, cancer-causing ingredients. Many of the surfaces we spray come into direct contact with our hands and our food, and that offers these chemicals the opportunity to directly enter our bodies. When you spray off your countertop, you're inhaling these volatile organic compounds. Those fumes go right away into your airways, and then we're also eating off these surfaces that we're wiping down, because we're not rinsing them off. We're spraying and we're wiping down. Furniture polish, it contains many toxic chemicals that remain on your furniture. So anytime you or your family are touching these surfaces, the oils are making their way into their bloodstream. Toilet bowl cleaners, they seem innocent. It's just a toilet bowl cleaner, right? They're one of the worst offenders in terms of off-gassing, which means continually releasing chemicals into the air. They have these intense smells that dramatically linger for hours, which I know many of you associate as having that clean smell, as having a clean home, but those are actually harmful for us. And we breathe them in, our children breathe them in. And just because they're not seen doesn't mean that they are harmless. The guide continues to go on through dishwashing detergent, fabric softener, laundry detergents. And I just want to say, this is a total aside. My solutions for these things is I shop at the Wellness Box. I don't know if you guys have heard of that before, but not only are their products safer to use, they also work. I feel like they're the perfect blend of science and nature. I have tried all the natural stuff. I've even tried making my own. I do love essential oils. I have made my own products. They smell good. I don't think they work amazingly. I think I have to work harder. So I like to use products that are safer for my family, safer for my home, but also work. And if you have been listening to the show for a while, you know that personally I have some conservative values and I strongly believe in voting with your dollar. I like to vote with my dollar. And many of the popular alternative brands for the cleaner, safer brands like Seventh Generation, Mrs. Meyer's, Dr. Bonner's, they support public policies and for lack of a better term, these leftist ideas and organizations that I actively and personally am against. I actively speak out against these things. I actively protest these things. And I like the Wellness Box because they are a Patriot-owned company. They strongly support and value freedom, and they share my similar conservative values. So that is where I vote with my dollar. This is just an aside because I know there are alternatives at the store, but if you're like me, where the store you're shopping and the brands you are buying are just as important to you as their health safety, then that is why I like to shop at the Wellness Box. So if you have a friend, it is a membership store, kind of like Costco. So you have to be invited and you have to have a membership. So if you have a friend who does that, please reach out to them. If you do not have a friend, you can also reach out to me and I can get you hooked up. All right, moving on here. Sorry, that was an aside. Or furniture, carpet, appliances. Furnitures can be made with materials known to cause respiratory problems, breast cancer, even leukemia if we're exposed over extended periods of time. Furniture made of pressed laminated wood, which can be an inexpensive and expensive furniture. It contains formaldehyde, which is extremely poisonous, and it makes its way into our airways. So just be aware of that and be aware of furniture pads that contain polyurethane and different petrochemicals that off gas. And the solution here is just opting for solid wood furniture with non-toxic glue. You want to try to choose natural cushions, things made of natural fabrics like down or wool. Or sorry, cushions, the stuffing, they're down or wool, and then the fabrics, natural fabrics, cotton or hemp or linen. And if you're going to get synthetics, it can be really helpful to buy older furniture or used furniture, secondhand furniture, because it's had more time to off gas. Other sources of off-gassing in our homes, especially like if you're getting new construction or getting new homes, like you need to be aware that new cabinets, mattresses, pillows, all those things are contributing to the air quality in our home because they are off-gassing. I go through a little bit more of this in detail in the guide, so you can look at that. Oh yeah, carpets, dry cleaning. Um, I mentioned electronic devices here. I'm going to talk about EMFs a little bit later, but it's one other danger in electronic devices and even our appliances is they're sprayed with flame retardants, and that can compete with iodine. And we need iodine to make thyroid hormones. And so this can cause a lot of thyroid problems. So if you buy new electronics or appliances, allow off gassing outside, maybe on a sunny day. Don't put things directly in the sun to get hot, and you always pay attention to weather. You don't want to leave your brand new laptop out in the sun and then it starts raining, which would happen here in Oklahoma because our weather is bipolar. Oh my gosh, my cat is going crazy. It's like a bottle cap, I think. Of course, I'm not even going to worry about it right now because they've been doing this to me all morning, and I'm not going to keep starting over. Um, all right, moving on. Let's talk about our water. City water is full of fluoride, chlorine, medications, hormones, antibiotics, birth control, um, all sorts of kinds of drugs. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but our fish are transforming from female to male because of the presence of these hormone disrupting chemicals. Our city water is nasty. It doesn't matter where you live. If you have city water, it's gross, it's treated, and it's nasty. The solution is to get a filtration system, and a reverse osmosis water system is really good. It's just important to remineralize your water. And if you can, save up for a whole house filtration system, because the toxic chemicals, including chlorine, those things become vaporized in the hot shower. They enter your lungs, and they're also absorbed through pores of our skin. In the interim, if you're saving up for that whole house filtration system, you can get filters just for your shower or your bathtub. So you can look into that as well. Our air quality, okay, our modern homes are so efficiently sealed that chemicals are getting trapped because our building materials just don't breathe. And so we hardly open our windows. And so all the air in our house can be even more polluted than the air outside sometimes. So the good solution here is to get a good air purification system. Make sure you clean out your HVAC systems, because our air conditioning can also be a source of mold. And our mold is the next topic I want to talk about here, because mold exposure can wreak absolute havoc on the human body. And the biotoxins from mold affect leptin receptors, which regulate hunger and tell the body to burn fat for energy. When this is disrupted, it can cause weight loss resistance, hormone dysregulation, and even cause unexplained pain. In addition to that, conditions such as chronic fatigue syndrome, insomnia, and other unexplained or inexplainable illnesses can be linked to mold exposures. And toxic molds are often not visible. They can hide in our walls, our floorboards, even appliances. One of the most common causes of mold is a water leak, which often isn't noticed because it happens behind your house's infrastructure. So when we moved from California out here to Oklahoma, the house we moved from in California is the house I grew up in. I didn't live in it for from the time I was a child till I was an adult. I did like go and come back, but it is a house I had lived in for years and years and years. And prior to moving, my husband and the kids and I had lived there for quite a few years. And we didn't realize until doing when we sold the home and they were doing the inspection that we had a roof leak that was in a closet in my office. And it was like a storage closet that I never accessed or used. It was just a closet. And there had been a roof leak in there, and there was mold growing in that closet up in the ceiling. And that was in my office. And also behind our dishwasher, it had been leaking for I don't know how long, but there was tons of mold behind the dishwasher. And there was so much moisture and mold behind our dishwasher from a leak that greenery was growing outside the back of the house that backed up to the dishwasher. And it was like on a side yard that we didn't access very often either. So we didn't notice that. So the point is, my son and I both had like all sorts of health problems that we didn't know about or realize, but it all kind of made sense after we were moving and it came to light that we had all this mold in the house. So that again is another aside. I have lots of little tangents I'm going off today, but the point is mold, you don't always know when you have mold. People think that it's obvious or that you'll know, and you don't always know. So if you have some um, inexplicable health concerns, please rule out mold. If you are actively being exposed to mold now in your home environment, it's so important to properly remediate or leave that environment because you don't want to mess with it. It will continue to wreak havoc on your body, and it can be very difficult to try to recover from. But if you know you've been exposed to mold, or even if you've been exposed to the mold in the past, it's really important to work with a practitioner who could properly test and treat you and work through that with you. All right, I'm just going to touch on this briefly. Food, we know that food is a source of toxins in our home, in our environment. We talk about that a lot on this show, but our standard American diet um, is just toxic. I mean, really, that's the best word for it. Specifically, let's talk about glyphosate because this herbicide creates holes in our gut. It affects um, pathways and it messes up our brain chemicals such as serotonin, dopamine. Glyphosate's also linked to autoimmune conditions, food allergies, sensitivities, dementia, autism, diabetes, heart disease, uncontrolled weight gain. The list goes on and on and on. The solution here is to avoid conventional grains, choose organic produce, grass-fed pasture, animal products when possible, because we want to minimize that glyphosate exposure. Toxic fats, we've talked about seed oil before. This is in the guide. You can go through that. Our cookware, we haven't really talked about this much, but let's talk about Teflon. I know nobody likes scrubbing dishes. No one likes soaking things for hours. Non-stick pans are very appealing. I get it. I know. But a Teflon pan heated at a regular cooking temperature releases at least 6 toxic gases, including 2 carcinogens, 2 global pollutants, and MFA, which is a chemical that is lethal to humans at low doses. Aluminum pans have a similar problem, and it's no secret that aluminum cookware is linked to neurological conditions such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, but also osteoporosis, extreme nervousness, anemia, headaches, decreased liver and kidney function, forgetfulness, speech disturbances. Just get some good quality cookware. I can make a list. I think I have a list somewhere of good cookware, but stainless steel is good, cast iron, um, um, enamel, like coated enamel, but you have to look through that as well because some of that has heavy metals. Speaking of heavy metals, let's talk about amalgam fillings. The World Health Organization says amalgam fillings are not meant to be put into human beings. And most other countries, except for the US, has banned them. And before an amalgam filling goes into your mouth, it is handled as hazardous waste with guidelines from OSHA. But when it goes into your mouth, all of a sudden it's considered safe. I'm not sure how that works. But then if you get them removed, the moment it comes out of your mouth, it's again regarded as hazardous waste. So this is unbelievable to me how this works. And every year there is an outcry before Congress trying to ban these fillings because they are indeed hazardous waste and they are in our mouths. But the American Dental Association somehow manages to just push it through. And we need to consider amalgams are more dangerous in our mouths because of the acidic environment. We are brushing our teeth, we're eating acidic foods, we are drinking hot liquids, and that's going to make the mercury in these fillings vaporize even more. So the solution here is to get them removed, obviously, but you can't just go to any regular dentist. You have to go to a special dentist who is trained in the safe removal of these because not only are they hazardous waste? But the removal process, if not done properly by a biological dentist, can actually cause more harm than good because they could get more of that amalgam into your bloodstream and into your body. So I really want to have a biological dentist on the show to talk more about this, but it's definitely an issue. Let's move on to plastics. There's a lot to say about plastics, but I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Um, it's really hard to escape plastics these days, but there are things that we can do. And switching anything that we can swap from plastic to glass or stainless steel is going to be the better option. The main problem with plastics is they are disrupting our hormone systems. Um, a Duke University study gave groups of mice BPA, which is a plastic chemical. We are all probably familiar with it because we now see the marketing of BPA free, that we see that label on a lot of things. Another aside here, um, BPA, yes, they've removed it. It's just been replaced with another chemical in the same family with the same dangers. So don't be fooled thinking that because something says BPA free, that that equals safe. It still has the same chemical in it. Well, the same chemical family in it, just another name, same dangers. But anyways, these mice were given BPA, and that turned on this fat gene, which made them obese. And they were obese. They had all sorts of other health challenges. And so these other chemicals in the plastics, such as the phthalates, they get into our bodies and they cause hormone problems. Um, be mindful of how plastics sneak into our packaging products like the BPA lining of canned foods, or if you're going to Starbucks or drive through coffee, what keeps the paper cup from disintegrating in that hot liquid is it's lined with a plastic film. So it's pretty much everywhere. It is difficult to avoid, but when you can, we can swap it out for um, glass mason jars or stainless steel water bottles, whatever you can. Let's move on to our beauty products. One of the highest exposures to BPA is toxic beauty products. So we're not only just getting plastic from our food containers and our food packaging, our bottles of water, but it's actually in our beauty products too. And also lipstick is known to contain lead. And women, I know we tend to use more personal care products than men, and we are putting them on every single day, usually, and over the time of like our lifespan from when we start putting on makeup. Anyways, it's a compound cumulative effect. So, ladies, it is imperative that you switch out your beauty products. The guide goes into more, but I just wanted to just say just switch it out. They're we have come so far now with beauty products. It used to be like the safer, more natural beauty products. They just sucked. They really did, especially like if you're used to like luxury brand makeup. The stuff that they used to have, it sucked. It's so much better now. There's no reason to not switch really. And I love Beauty Counter, which it can be a little bit pricey. The Sabella line, which is very comparable to all the luxury brands that you would get at Sephora or Nordstrom or something, just without all the chemicals. And it's less than Beauty Counter. So I'm a big Sabella fan. Again, I get that in my wellness box. Moving on. There are a couple pages about beauty products and the ingredients in the guide, but we'll just move on from here. Let's talk about EMFs, electro and magnetic fields. EMFs are invisible areas of energy, and they can often be referred to as radiation. They're associated with the use of electrical power, and a huge missing piece of the puzzle for many people in their health journey um, is EMF exposure. And it's because we can't see them, so we don't think about them. But if your toxic bucket is close to being full, or if it is overflowing and you're continually exposing yourself with our cell phones in our pockets or other electronic devices, then we're just becoming more vulnerable to the EMFs, and that's driving cellular inflammation. EMFs are linked to cancer and tumors, and this is really concerning because they are nearly unavoidable in our modern world. They come from our TVs. I mean, I'm surrounded by them right now as I am recording this podcast. Um, but it's not just our electronic devices, it's also our hair dryers, it's our ceiling fans, it's our oven, it's our fridge. It's all these things that take power. They all emit EMFs in one way or another. And in our homes, again, they compound, but that doesn't mean we are left powerless. When we go out into the world, we do have to take other precautions or extra precautions for protecting ourselves. Inside of our home, we can do home remediation. You can turn off your Wi-Fi router at night. I know people who have put them on those Christmas tree timers where they just automatically shut down at nighttime. Do not sleep with your cell phone next to your head, next to your bed. Put it in another room. There are lots of companies now that offer like personal protection devices that you can wear on you. You can put them on your cell phone, you can put them on your laptops. And so you can get there are things that you can do to protect yourself. And while we're on this topic, I think it's also a good time to do another plug for the show sponsor because um, there are things that you can do outside your body to protect yourself, like using little chips or they have harmonizing necklaces and jewelry and stuff. But there are also things that we can do inside of our body to protect ourselves from the harmful effect of EMF exposure. And one of those things is the LifeWave X39 patch. It's designed to elevate the naturally occurring GHK copper peptide within our body. And copper is one of the absolute most reliable metals when it comes to blocking and shielding EMF radiation. In fact, it's copper mesh fabrics and copper containing devices that are widely used as EMF protection and defense against EMFs, sometimes as like a Faraday cage. Now, please don't be confused. These patches do not put copper into your body, which supplementing with copper can throw off other mineral balances within your body. These do not put anything into your body, but they naturally elevate GHK copper peptide through infrared light by using our body's own light waves. And essentially, what this peptide can do inside your body is act as an internal Faraday cage, like protecting you from the cellular level. So, in addition to clinical studies demonstrating the increase in copper peptide production, the X39 patch has been shown to increase stem cells, activate and restore 4,000 genes to a more youthful level. They can promote organ regeneration, repair DNA, and reduce inflammation, free radical damage. even more. So it sounds too good to be true. And I would agree if I wasn't already experiencing like miracle level results with myself and my clients. And it's one of those things you just have to experience for yourself to really understand, which is why when you order your 30-day supply of X39 using the link lifewave.com/HollyJean, you will be entered to win a second 30-day supply for free. Plus, LifeWave offers a money back guarantee. So there's really no risk in trying it. You have nothing to lose here. So again, go ahead and click on the direct link in the show notes, or you can go to lifewave.com/HollyJean to purchase the X39 patches. Okay, let's talk about solutions. I've gone through so much. We've gone over the top 10 toxins and toxin areas. I've given you action steps and an action plan for getting started. Don't forget to download this presentation of the Healthy Home Guide, because there's so much more in here that I didn't have a chance to go over. I will link this directly into the show notes. We can't expect to change all of this overnight, but knowledge is power, and we can slowly remove these things from our lives, and you will start to see changes in your health. And detoxing your home is sorry, I'm going to stop that now. Detoxing your home and your body is a huge step at realizing your optimal cellular health. And you've read that detoxifying your home and your products can have tremendous health benefits. And I'm just proud of you. I'm just going to applaud you right now for listening to the show is the first step at getting started. You have now taken that one step closer to action and removing these things from your home. It's impossible to live in a completely toxin-free environment. And I think it's toxic in itself to obsess about trying to avoid toxins and avoid chemicals. If you are stressing about it and worrying about it so much that it's creating that stress response in you, then that's not healthy either. So what we can do is we can know that there are these dangers out there. We can know that there's ways to protect ourselves and take care of our bodies, and we don't have to be crazy about it. Okay, just be cool, baby. Just be cool. Um, Anyways, I am here to help. I know I've mentioned this before. I am a human. I do answer my messages. If you need help with any of this, I am happy to do so. So please just reach out. If you have found this episode helpful or valuable, please share it with a friend. Share it with a friend who could use this information. And again, I greatly appreciate if you left the show a review, because as I mentioned in the beginning, that does help me book continue to book great guests, and it does help our show become recommended and show up in more searches for people who are looking for information just like this. So thank you so much for joining me in this episode today. Don't forget to download your free guide and let me know if you have any questions. That is the end of today's episode. Our theme music is created by Andrew Bowden, and production services are by Kevin Kennedy Spain of Discolite Media. Have a great week, everybody.